All right, let's do this thing. Got another lesson here. Course of Miracles here. I first want to share on something. A couple of things, actually. I'm just going to share a little bit in the beginning, kind of like I do before we jump in. This morning, it's about, I don't know what it is now, maybe 2 o'clock in the afternoon or something. The timing just today, the way things work and the schedule and stuff in the house and all that, I wasn't able to do the video as early as I normally do. But the reason why I say that is I had all types of energy flowing this morning. I had insights, I had downloads. I was really coming in this morning, especially when I went outside to get my morning sunlight and, kind of I do movement and do different things like, to keep my body healthy, or just, yeah. So while I was doing that, I was having some profound insights. And I mean, it's kind of funny, not funny, it's divine how this all works. That was happening to me. And I actually stopped what I was doing. I came in to grab my phone and I was actually going to make some, I'm trying to make more shorts and do things like that on YouTube as well. And I grabbed my phone, I took it out, and I started to try to make one. I'm like, this is my time. This is the time I'm devoting to this. I don't need to be doing that right now. You know what? The timing will be fine. Whenever I decide to come back to that or whenever it needs to come up or whatever, it's all perfect. I've talked about this before. Everything that's transpiring is perfect. It may not seem perfect to you, but it's perfect. It's divine. And it's hard for us to wrap our human mind around that sometimes. But I had that stuff happening to me, and I want to make other videos on it. I just don't know how I'll get around to it or how it'll happen. And then what's funny is that you'll probably catch me in these videos actually stating how everything happens perfectly, and then coming back and you'll see the unconscious nature of me, right? Like you'll see the old self of me, you'll see the ego of me, or you'll see the lower self, or the darkness, or the stuff that the programs, the conditioning, all that kind of stuff that I'm breaking free of and moving more towards that love and light and that awareness and higher consciousness and God and creation, basically. So you'll probably watch me in videos, and you can probably, if you can pick up on those things, you're well on your way, right? Because everyone has this unconscious nature still to them, that we're working out of. And I'm not sure, my thought on it right now is we're here until that stuff isn't anymore. And then when that stuff isn't anymore, there's no reason to be here anymore. We'll kind of transcend out of here, transform out of here, out of the body, and go back to what is actually reality. And all this stuff kind of ties into this. This lesson ties right into this today. And then also I want to take a minute and just share. I had a little something happen, or something come into my attention. This right before I got on here, actually. And I just want to take a minute, and there's a part of me that's sad. There's a part of me that knows that it's okay, and it's happened. Everything happens again perfectly the way that it's supposed to. But I was made aware. I mean, there's still people, even in my own family, like people that I grew up around and all this kind of thing, that, are still kind of playing into the charade, into the system, into the charades, into the illusions, into it all, into that false self, into that. It's funny because they'll claim, some of these people I even know claim that they're Christians and claim that they're people of God. And it's like, it's just fascinating to me, I guess would be the best way to put it. How people are just really, one way to put it would be ignorant. They're very confused. And this is just, it just fascinates me. This stuff fascinates me. So I just want to take a minute and really just kind of, just be compassionate and think about them, and also be grateful about where I'm at and what I see and how I can see through the illusions and stuff. So anyway, let's jump into it. I should stop talking about all that now, I guess. And let's jump into the lesson. Lesson 124 in the Course of Miracles. Let me remember I am one with God. So today We will again give thanks for our identity in God. Our home is safe, protection guaranteed in all we do, power and strength available to us in all our undertakings. We can fail in nothing. Everything we touch takes on a shining light that blesses and that heals. I mean, when it says we can fail in nothing, what we view as failure is just part of the journey. And what are you going to wake up and see? What are you going to wake up and learn out of that failure, right? That failure's there because you keep coming back to something. There's something there for you to learn, whether it's a kid trying to learn how to lose a soccer game, or somebody that's maybe a little bit evolved, like further down the path, and there's a lesson, there's something unconscious in them that they keep attracting this thing back into their life, because if there's something not working properly, or there's resistance, or there's anger, there's frustration or stress there's something for you to gain in that. Everything happens for you. At one with God and with the universe, we go our way rejoicing with the thought that God himself goes everywhere with us. You're never alone. You're never alone in this. There's a force. I wanted to actually make this reference. It's funny that I say, like, I'm not a Star Wars person, but there's a force with you. I mean, there's a reason why these movies are the way they are, and they make these movies, because there is so much that we've never been taught that's actually very true about us. We just, there's a force out there that's of another nature, that's of a darker nature, that if every human knew exactly what they were capable of, it wouldn't exist. So there's like this polarity here. And I was having this conversation this morning actually with someone, and it almost, like, I believe it's just universal. Like, it has to happen that way. There has to be polarity here, right? There has to be, because what we would just kind of like sit stagnantly here. I mean, there's just so many different things that can come up for me. And I realize that I've talked about, heaven on earth. It's already here, right? We just have to wake up to it. There's always, in the movies and stuff like that, there's always a hero and a villain. And I look at it like, the system's in control. Whoever, you can go down all those rabbit holes. You can watch my video on the system and hear my thoughts on it. It's a whole process going through all that and figuring out what you believe and what's true, what's really true about this world. And you could call that the villain, and the people are the hero. I mean, the people, of creation, of God, of their living into their higher selves, are going to be the ones that are triumphant in all of this. And the ones that refuse to wake up, stay unconscious, stay programmed, stay conditioned, I don't know what's going to happen there. I think, I don't know. I won't even go that much further into that. It's going to be interesting how all this plays out in the world. But anyway, how holy are our minds, and everything we see reflects the holiness within the mind, at one with God and with itself, with itself. How easily do errors disappear and death give place to everlasting life. The errors of the mind, right? The errors that we believed certain things growing up because we were taught them. It was all around us. I know it was for me, right? I'll just speak from my experience, right? And if you are here and you're resonating with this message and you're listening to these videos, then you're probably on the same page. I didn't get taught this stuff. My parents were, did the best they could. They were just as, systematic and programmed by all that stuff. How could they teach us something they didn't know? So, and then death gives place to everlasting life. I really truly believe, and I've learned a lot about death, that it's our friend. Like, it really will transition out of here. Yeah. I mean, that's a deep conversation to go into. And I actually wanted to do a whole separate video on death, but because I'm still finding my way with it. I'm finding what I believe about it. I'm finding my way, right? I'm befriending it. I have no idea. We never know. Quoting Jay Glazer, we don't know what's around next Tuesday. We have no idea. We don't know what's around in 5 minutes. So we better get living. We better get busy living instead of dying. Our shining footprints point the way to truth, for God is our companion as we walk the world a little while. I mean, this ties right into the death thing. We just walk. We're just here for a little while. And those who come to follow us will recognize the way because the light we carry stays behind, yet still remains with us as we walk on. What we receive is our eternal gift to those who follow after, and to those who went before or stayed with us a while. And God, who loves us with the equal love in which we were created, smiles on us and offers us the happiness we gave. Today we will not doubt his love for us, nor question his protection and his care. No meaningless anxieties, which I highlighted. There's a few things I've highlighted. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff I highlighted in the lesson, but meaningless anxieties. Anxiety is a label or a term that I have a history with and am still learning a lot about myself in that area. So I highlighted that because it is meaningless anxieties. It's fear based. It's illusional. It really is. It doesn't. This stuff doesn't really exist. You may be. I'm not taking. Listen, I'm not taking away from what you're actually experiencing and feeling, but where it's coming from. The root of that is, when you get down to it, you'll realize it's meaningless. It's really just an illusion. All fears are. No meaningless anxieties can come between our faith and our awareness of his presence. We are one with him today in recognition and remembrance. We feel him in our hearts. I know I've been feeling a lot in my heart lately. A lot of stuff happening, a lot of release, a lot of different things happening in my body and my being in general. I know I'm on the right track, because if you're feeling things, and this is one thing I can interject here with the great Paul Chek used to call, I learned this a long time ago, and I didn't realize how deep it really was, the statement, right? So pain is a teacher. It's a guidance mechanism. I might have talked about this before in other videos. I won't go too deep into it right now, but I just wanted to mention it's a guide. It's not something that you're going to run off to somebody, some doctor, some chiropractor, and listen, I'm learning a ton about even the alternative medicine practitioners are actually in your way, right? They're actually doing things that are suppressing pain and suppressing the things that are guiding you. They're trying to guide you in your life to better things, a better way of living, your actual reason and way of being here, right? Pain is a teacher. It's a guide. Dealing with a lot of it, so I know I'm on the right track. Our minds contain his thoughts. Our eyes behold his loveliness, and all we look upon. Today we see only the loving and the lovable. That's the thing. It's your choice what you want to see in the world. It's through your experiences and all that kind of stuff and a lot of what you've taken in to this point in your life. But it's your choice if you want to see hate or dark or all that, or you want to see love and light and all that. It really is your choice. We see it in appearances of pain, and pain gives way to peace. There's that pain thing again. We see it in appearances of pain, and pain gives way to peace. We see it in the frantic, in the sad, and the distressed, the lonely and afraid, who are restored to the tranquility and the peace of mind in which they were created. So we were created with tranquility and peace. What we took off with our free will and what happened, because of outside external things, there's no doubt about that, but you need to come to a place where it's like, okay, I now realize I've learned all about that. I've learned, why all that's happening through a lot of stuff I talk about with the conditioning, the program. I don't want to keep saying the same things over and over again. But we have a very programmable mind. It can be programmed for lack, for stress, for anger, for frustration, or it can be programmed for love. And that, basically love. I mean, that covers a lot, doesn't it? Because if you're in love, you're not in fear. And we see it in the dying and the dead as well, restoring them to life. All this we see because we saw it first within ourselves. So that's a big statement. That one hit me. I actually highlighted that sentence first. I remember. I just did this right before I got on here. I read this. I meditated on it this morning, and then I read it right before I got on here again and did some highlighting. And I went back and highlighted the whole paragraph because then I thought the paragraph was really powerful. So you can take it back and listen to this again if you'd like. But that last sentence really caught my eye. All this we see because we saw it first within ourselves. So for me, I was talking about this with a friend the other day. He was sharing something with me that it was a realization he had through something we were talking about, and just the experiences and sharing and everything we do together, and his life and his experience. And there's nothing like, you can learn, read, you can do all that stuff, you can watch these videos, you can do all this kind of stuff, but until you experience something, right? Until it's like this aha moment or an experience, until that happens. So basically what I'm saying is, and what I get out of that last sentence is that you will get the most out of the experience taking action, and then the experience you get from that. And then it'll talk more about this later in the lesson. So this will be perfect. No miracle can ever be denied to those who know that they are one with God. No thought of theirs, but has the power to heal all forms of suffering in anyone. So there we go again. Our own thoughts, what we would create with our own free will, not with God's or creation or that kind of higher self of ours, that connection, that fact that we are one with God. If we're not allowing that, and we're getting in the way with our own egoic stuff, garbage kind of things, we'll right here, no thought of theirs, but has the power to heal all forms of suffering in anyone, and times gone by and times yet to come, as easily as in ones who walk beside them now. Their thoughts are timeless and apart from distance as apart from time. The first part, no thought of theirs, but has the power to heal all forms of suffering in anyone. No thought of theirs, no thought of our own. It's all coming from God, creation, higher versions of ourselves that we're connected. Let's remember what the main theme or mantra of the lesson is. Let me remember I'm one with God. We join in this awareness as we say that we are one with God. For in these words we say as well that we are saved and healed, that we can save and heal accordingly. We have accepted and we now would give. And again, in previous lessons, we know when we give, we receive. It's all one thing. For we would keep the gifts our Father gave. Today, we would experience ourselves at one with Him, so that the world may share our recognition of reality. So I highlighted that bad boy because so the world may share our recognition of reality. Reality is the connection with God, our higher selves. Anything else is an illusion. It's not real. And there's a mantra actually in the course you'll hear I don't think it's in the lessons. No, that there's a mantra that if you do the meditations or go to the apps that I recommend down in the description below, at the end of each lesson, he'll say a certain mantra. I'm not going to say it now, but like it's basically saying that what we're living in here isn't actual reality. In our experience, the world is freed. As we deny our separation from our Father, it is healed along with us. Peace be to you today. Secure your peace by practicing an awareness you are one with your Creator as He is with you. Sometime today, whenever it seems best, devote a half an hour to the thought that you are one with God. This is our first attempt at an extended period for which we give no rules nor special words to guide your meditation. We will trust God's voice to speak as He sees fit today. Certain He will not fail. This takes a shifting of your mind. This takes dedication. This takes consistency. And then as you do that, you will see results. Now it gets into some good stuff here in a minute. I really wanted to get to this. Okay, extending the period. We will trust God's voice to speak as He sees fit today. He will do the rest. Okay. Your benefit will not be less if you believe that nothing happens. So, even if you do this course and you don't think things are happening, again, it is. All right, sorry, I'm losing my place here. I need to do a better job of making sure I keep my place. Your benefit will now be less if you believe that nothing happens. You may not be ready to accept the gain today. This is big. This is massive right here. Yet sometime, somewhere, it will come to you, nor will you fail to recognize it when it dawns with certainty upon your mind. So right here, it's telling you, you may not see results right away. So don't give up. Just keep going. Keep practicing. This half an hour will be framed in gold with every minute, like a diamond set around the mirror that this exercise will offer you. And you will see Christ's face upon it in reflection of your own. Perhaps today, perhaps tomorrow. There it is again. Perhaps today, perhaps tomorrow. Meaning tomorrow, who knows? I know that I've experienced this. I'd be like, oh man, all these days where I'm like, I just had the day on Saturday. Where I'm like, oh man, I'm not feeling it today. It's like you have to continue. I'm going to make sure I hold my place here. You have to continue to, it's like what's the saying with the diamond, the pressure, it has to have pressure. It has to have friction. Things have to have, we have to have these challenges. That's where the magic comes from, right? Now, as you continue to go, I'm here to vouch, like it's been really challenging for me. There's been times I've wanted to give up. There's been times where I'm like, I don't know about this. But something always happens. Some what's the word I'm looking for? Some perfect things. I'll just call it that. That's not the word I'm looking for. There's a word. That's all right. Something will happen. And you'll be like, wait a second. I didn't used to think like that. Or, there'll be these moments for you. I promise you. This half an hour will be framed in gold with every minute like a diamond set around. I read that part. Okay. Perhaps today, perhaps tomorrow. You will see your own transfiguration in the glass. This holy half an hour will hold out to you to look upon yourself. When you are ready, you will find it there within your mind and waiting to be found. You will remember when the thought to which you gave this half an hour, thankfully aware, no time was ever better spent. I highlighted that, right? Like I'll have this happen over and over and over again, right? I'll be like, oh man, to sit down and do it. Like your lower self is always going to want to talk you out of stuff. It's always going to try to take you in the other direction. You have to power through it. You really do sometimes. And you have to say, no, I'm going to sit down here. I'm spending this time today. Because I know once you start getting those little results and you start getting those little intuitions and those insights and those downloads, like, whoa, where did that come from? Well, this is where it's coming from. It's your work that you're doing, your effort that you're showing, creation. You're showing your higher self what really matters. No time better spent. Perhaps today, perhaps tomorrow. There it is again. You will look into this glass and understand the sinless light you see belongs to you. The loveliness you look on is your own. Count this half an hour as your gift to God, in certainty that his return will be a sense of love you cannot understand. A joy too deep for you to comprehend. A sight too holy for the body's eyes to see. And yet, you can be sure someday, perhaps today, perhaps tomorrow, you will understand and comprehend and see. Add further jewels to the golden frame that holds the mirror offered you today by hourly repeating to yourself, let me remember I am one with God, at one with all my brothers and myself in everlasting holiness and peace. End of today's lesson. Whew. Good stuff. Such good stuff. I really enjoy doing this. I'm going to continue to do this. I think I've said enough for today. I'm always coming from a place of unconditional love. We are the miracle. Heaven on earth is already waiting. It's waiting. We just have to wake up out of the slumber. Until next time, I love you.